Hello, seekers. So imagine this. It's year dot, and your tribe has recently discovered fire. And you're all sitting around the campfire one night and you're looking up at the night sky. And because you don't live near a city and there's no electricity, there is no light pollution. And it is spectacular. You can see everything. You can see planets, you can see stars, you see comets, you see meteorites, you see UFOs zipping past, and you reason that because these things are moving, they must be alive. I mean, you don't know any better at this point. And so you start talking amongst yourselves about and telling stories about these traveling beings in the sky. And then one day, your shaman finds a herb or a mushroom or perhaps some cheese that's been left out in the sun for too long, and he eats it and he starts having visions. And maybe he even starts talking to entities that he's encountering when he's having these visions. And he tells the rest of the tribe about what he's experiencing and what he's seeing. And so you start drawing things on the walls of your cave. You start drawing these beings and you start talking about these beings and you start wondering who these beings are. And so begins spirituality, or the quest for God. And you've noticed that at nighttime, when it's very dark, there are things that hide in the dark that you can't see that are just waiting to kill you. But there is this one big light that's only there at certain times of the month. And one night you're out walking your cow, and your cow falls into a hole and dies. And you reason that perhaps this one bright light is a super powerful being. It's more powerful than all the other beings that you see at night. And perhaps this one super being is upset with you for some reason, so it's killed your cow. Oh dear. So you have a talk with your tribe and you come up with a system of appeasement. What can we do to keep this one God happy so he doesn't kill the rest of our cows? And you come up with this system of appeasement. Perhaps you get it into your head that you need to sacrifice your neighbor's daughter to appease this one God so he doesn't kill the rest of your cows. And it seems to work. Occasionally, a cow dies, and then you think, well, maybe we have done something wrong. So maybe it's time for another sacrifice. And you develop this system of appeasement. But then during the day, there's this other light. And it's even brighter than the light you see at night. And it's so bright, in fact, that it drowns out all the other lights so much that you can't even see them. So this must be a super powerful light. And what you've noticed about this light is that this light enables you to see everything. You feel really safe when this light is there. And at certain times of the year, when this light is in a certain position, your harvests produce and you're able to eat. So you reckon, wow, this is an even more powerful light. So you create a system of worship for this light. But perhaps one day, the chief of your tribe realizes, hang on a second, I've noticed that when somebody else wants to be chief, all they do is they throw a spear at that chief and they kill him, and now they're chief. So he reckons, well, if perhaps I say that this God has told me that I am chosen to be king, nobody's going to kill me. So he tells the tribe, listen, our God has told me that he's chosen me to be king. What is anybody going to do about that? Because if you kill the king, you're going to upset the god and there's going to be trouble. So you just accept, well, if the chief says it must be true, then it must be true. He's been chosen to be king. And then the king starts realizing, hang on a second, God only speaks to me. He doesn't speak to the rest of you. So now he starts telling you things that God has told him, that, listen, your wife has got to be mine because God has told me that that needs to happen. And so you just give her up because now God is speaking through your chief, and you can't argue with your chief. He's been divinely chosen by God, and he's been chosen to speak to the tribe. And so begins religion. Now you have a system in place that not only works to appease your God, but you have someone who is speaking for God and telling you exactly what you need to do to please your God. And sometimes these things don't make sense, but hey, it's God speaking, so who are you to argue with God? But something interesting happens at this point. With this religion, spirituality disappears. Let's face it. If you know how to please God and you've got somebody who's talking for God, why do you need to seek God anymore? Why do you need to look for God anymore? God is there. There's a system of appeasement and there's somebody speaking for God. So all you have to do is just do A, B, and C, and voila, God is happy. And so it seems that what's been built into our psyche is this need to look for a God or a power or force outside of ourselves, and then some system of worship or appeasement in order to keep that God happy so that everything can go right in our lives. And if you're really clever, when you're setting up this system of worship and appeasement, you put in some kind of clause that says, you know what, if you don't worship and appease your God, you're going to go to some horrible place when you die. But if you do please your God, then eternal bliss when you die. Doesn't matter what society you look at, you'll always find some God-appointed monarchy who will tell the people what they should do and how they should live. And that's even used to justify things like caste systems and to put people in certain social structures because God said so. But now let's say a story about a man comes along, and there's lots of stories like this. I think there's about 16 stories like this. A man comes along who is the Son of God, and he's going to die for the sins of mankind. And he's going to make it so that mankind doesn't have to follow the rules anymore. He can just have a relationship with God. And that's wonderful. What a great idea. But the amazing thing is this. Even though they bring in a system whereby you can just trust in this one man and you can have a wonderful relationship with God and all of your sins are forgiven and everything's hunky-dory, you still find yourself looking for a system of appeasement. And you still find yourself looking for some external God that you can worship in order for your life to be great. I mean, today, you'll hear people saying, well, if God isn't answering your prayers, then maybe your faith isn't strong enough. Or if you're not being healed, it's because your faith isn't strong enough. It's the same old system of appeasement. It's the same old way of thinking that there is a God outside of you and there is something that you must do in order to have that God notice you and to appease that God. And this is the spiritual trap that we keep falling into. We keep looking for some guru, somebody who speaks for God, to tell us how we need to live our lives so that God can notice us. Even in the New Age religion, we've just changed the name of God to universe because God has gotten a bad rap. So now it's all about raising your vibration so that the universe can notice you and do good things for you. It's the same system of appeasement. We stay trapped in this system of appeasement because now it's about, oh, well, if your life isn't going well, it's because your vibration isn't high enough. Well, how high is high enough? It's the same system of appeasement. You've got to let go of those lower vibrations of whatever and raise your vibration so that the universe can notice you. Now, here's the thing about spirituality. Spirituality is kind of like food. If you are hungry for food, all you're going to think about is food. You're just going to imagine what you're going to have to eat, and all you can think about is food, and all you can talk about is food because you're hungry. But once you get that food, and once you have eaten, guess what? You stop talking about food. You stop thinking about food. You get on with your lives. And it's the same with spirituality. As long as you are hungering for true spirituality, you're going to think about spirituality. But once you really connect with true spirituality, you're going to stop looking for it and you're going to stop talking about it. Haven't you ever noticed that there are some spiritual people out there who don't talk about spirituality? As long as you are hungering for spirituality, you're going to be seeking. And this is the spiritual trap that we fall into. We will go on YouTube, Instagram, or TikTok, and we will look for somebody who speaks for God. We will look for somebody who is channeling somebody who speaks for God. Maybe somebody who is channeling the Ooga Booga from the Zeta Reticuli system who can tell you how to live your life so that you can finally have good things happening in your life. This is the spiritual trap that we fall into because we're so hungry for real spirituality. And so we go on a search for the next guru, the next thing to tell us how to live. I don't know if you've noticed this, but God seems to speak to the chosen people, but he doesn't speak to you. The universe only speaks to certain people, and spirits only communicate to certain people, the chosen people. So even today, it seems that there is a priest class. Just like there is in religion, there is a class of priests, chosen people who God speaks through so that the rest of you, mere mortals and peons, can hear what God has to say and start living your life in a way that will get what you want. And so it seems that the universe and God will speak to some people, but will not speak to you. You stay hungry. You are desperate. What if that's all, for want of a better word, a lie? You know, I'm not saying that it's wrong to listen to people who are channeling higher beings or priests who are hearing from God. It's not wrong. But what if it's not true that it's only a certain class of people who can experience that? So what am I saying? I'm saying that you are hungry for spirituality because you don't have spirituality. What if the system of appeasement is the lie? What if this system of worship is the lie? What if looking for a God that is outside of us and finding a way to please that God so our lives could be better is the lie? And that lie has infected everything we do. Even the New Age religion. It's about this external universe, and we have to raise our vibrations so that everything that resonates with that vibration can come to us. It's always about something external to us that we have to find a way into. What if that is the lie? What if it's not about an objective journey outwards, looking for something outside of ourselves, but rather a subjective journey inwards? What if there is no such thing as a chosen class of people? Because we are all divine beings. We can all use intuition. We can all talk to spirit guides. We can all connect with spirit. And that is the simple truth. It's not a complicated, difficult road. It's actually pretty easy. What if true spirituality is really as simple as just going within, connecting with that quiet place within you that's beyond your thoughts and beyond your thinking, and just spending time in that stillness? What if connecting with God is not about some amazing experience, but rather just simply spending time in the silence? True spirituality is not about becoming a good person so that you can experience God, because how good is good enough? And it's not about raising your vibration so that you can connect with spirit and experience the universe, because how high is high enough? It's not about trying to give something up so that you can be noticed by God. It's not about letting go of these lower energies so that the universe can notice you. It's not about those things at all, because how good is good enough? It's about experiencing God and experiencing the universe and then changing. It's about going within and spending time in that silent, quiet place, and then changing from there. First, stepping into who you are in a sense of divinity, and then changing. Because if you have to change first, it's not going to happen. You've spent your whole life trying to become a better person, and maybe you've even just abandoned it altogether and just given in. You've spent your whole life doing that so that you can experience a better life or experience God, and it just hasn't worked. So maybe we need to flip the script. Maybe it's about first experiencing God and then changing. I don't think a truly loving God would expect people who are people who find it so impossible to change to first change before he'll pay them any attention. That's just cruel and bizarre. I think real love knows that in order for a person to change, they first have to experience love. What is love? Well, love is found in that quiet place within. God is found in that quiet place within. I'll make it even simpler for you. If you want to know where God is the space in between your thoughts. That's where you look for God. And then you change. Then you become a better person. So how do you connect with God? How do you do this? Here's the thing. I can't tell you. I know how I do it, but I can't tell you how you do it. And nobody else can tell you how to do it. Look, you can go and you can watch a video and they'll tell you, look, here are 6 steps to connect with God. And you'll try those 6 steps and you might have some success. But the truth is that those 6 steps, that's how that person connects with God. When somebody tells you how they've learned to manifest, well, yes, they've learned how to manifest, but that's how it works for them. If you try and do what they do, you'll experience some success, perhaps, but you're going to be frustrated. You have to find out what works for you. All I can do And all anybody else online can do, no matter what they say, is just point you inwards. They can just show you, look, that's the way you need to go in. But the road, that's yours alone. True spirituality is subjective. It's for you to discover. And all I can say about how you do it is that really it's about going inside and spending time in the silence without expecting anything else. But I can't tell you how to do it. You've got to figure that out for yourself. You know, I know there's things that can help you relax, like breath work and binaural beats, but ultimately your spiritual path is going to be incredibly unique for you. That's why these spiritual people that you see don't talk about their spirituality, because they know that it's a unique, subjective path. If you are frustrated by religion, good. That is the beginning of wisdom, because now you can abandon this outward objective search for some God, some deity, some being that's outside of you. And now you just have to find the A, B, and C that you need to do D, but you do A, B, and C and you don't get D. So, hey, there's something wrong with you. You can abandon that whole system now and stop trying to be a good person. Stop trying to change. Stop trying to fix yourself. Stop trying to do all these things that are just leaving you more frustrated, and learn to go within and start spending time in that silent place. And hey, listen, if you can only do it for a minute, then just do it for a minute. You know what? A minute of divinity is better than a year without it. So just start spending time within. Just find out how you need to do it. Find out what works for you and spend time in that quiet place. The moment anybody tells you how to do this, they're drawing you back into this trap again. You've got to find out for yourself. You've got to discover it for yourself. There are no rules. There are no prescribed paths to follow. There is only going within and finding that silence within. So you've got to find out for yourself how to go within and spend time in that silent place without expectation, because expectation is the trap again. Because now you're saying to yourself, well, if I go within and I spend time in the silence and something happens, now you're prescribing that I have to do this to get that. It's the trap all over again, and you'll end up frustrated. Forget it. Forget it. The moment you have to do something in order for something else to happen, it's the trap all over again. You only want to create the things you want to create because they're going to make you feel a certain way. It's the trap all over again. You are needing something outside of yourself in order to achieve something. Just spend time going within, going into that silent place, and allow your life to flow. Now, this channel is about my journey into spirituality. I'm not going to tell you how to walk your path. I'm not going to tell you what you need to be doing. That's for you to discover. But what I will tell you is perhaps what I've been shown and what I've been told and what I've experienced. And the only reason I'm going to do that is to inspire you to experience these things for yourself. My challenge to you is today, start this journey for yourself without any expectations. Just take a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, however long you can take. Just quieten yourself and go within and spend some time in the silent place. And if your mind starts chattering, doesn't matter. It happens to us all. Just let those thoughts go and return back to that silent place. And just do it for as long as you can do it. And then tomorrow, do it again. And then the next day, do it again. And then just observe the changes. Observe what happens. Maybe something changes. Maybe something doesn't change. The point of spirituality actually is not so that your life can change. It's so that you can experience God within. And that's all. So, have a great day and keep searching.